Do you know that you can sharpen an image by simply blurring it, or you can sharpen an image by just increasing the blur radius or the blur values on the image? Well, this is a tutorial for you guys, and this is going to be an easy way to sharpen every single detail in the image. And previously we had the sharpening method for using the high pass method for sharpening, but that method only sharpens the outlines of the image, but this is going to sharpen every single detail in your images. I'm Ronix from Ronnixphotography. Thank you for subscribing and supporting this channel. So let's click in and we start learning about the best way to sharpen your images in Photoshop by blurring the values of all the details in the image. So the very first thing we want to do is coming into the Photoshop interface, and you're going to duplicate the background layer twice. So you're going to simply hit Ctrl or Command J twice. Then you're going to name the middle layer, just double click on it. You're going to name it normal because this layer has to remain in the normal blend mode. And you're going to name this vivid light. So vivid light, just like that. So after we have done this, the next thing we want to do is coming to this vivid light layer, and we want to invert or hide the effects or the colors from this image. And in order to do that, make sure that this mask is selected or the vivid light thumbnail is selected, and simply hit Ctrl or Command I on the keyboard to hide or invert the effects of this very image. So the next thing we want to do, we want to change the blending mode like it has been mentioned right here. So we're just going to change this layer into a vivid light blend mode. So come right here and look for vivid light. So like we have in the high pass method of sharpening, it usually creates for us a gray kind of layer that contains the details of the image. Yeah, that gray kind of layer most of the time lacks the colors, and it has the outlines or the details of the image. So the next thing that we want to do is first of all converting this into a smart object, because we want to be able to change those values later on after we've been able to sharpen this image. So the next thing we want to do is coming to filter, then convert to, or convert for smart filters rather, so that we can be able to edit the values later on. So come and hit OK, and it's going to convert this into a smart object. You can see the option right here. So the next thing, which is the major emphasis for this very tutorial, is blurring this image. Yeah, so what we want to do is coming to filter right here. Then when you come to filter, you're going to come to blur, and you're going to come to Gaussian blur. So here is where I need your maximum attention. So usually the lowest radius for your Gaussian blur is going to be at 0.1. So if at all we start to increase these values, let's try and see if at all you're going to be able to get the details or the outlines of this image even more. So let's just start, left click and start moving this radius towards the right hand side. And as you can see, it is now revealing the details in this very image. I hope you can see that the details are getting back in this image. And after, when you feel like it is enough for you, you can simply hit OK, but I wouldn't recommend that you take it all the way overboard, because that won't look really nice and natural. So you're going to be using a radius of 3.0 and simply come and hit OK. So after doing that, you can see that right now we can't be able to get back the image the way it was meant to look before. So we're just going to come and select both layers, our vivid light layer and our normal layer. So hold down Ctrl or Command, and you can left click and scroll down to the normal blend mode and left click on it to select or highlight it. So the next thing that we want to do is putting these two in a group. So you can either drag and drop them to this folder icon, or you can simply hit Ctrl or Command G on the keyboard to group them. Then you're going to name this sharpening, just like that. So you can see how the image is not sharpened and we still have the image really looking awkward. It only has the details and is not having any colors. So what we want to do is coming to this blend mode option, and we're going to change this from whatever it is to overlay, just like that. So I want you guys to look at this image. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So you can see the before and the after. Before, after. This has sharpened the overall image, and it has not limited the sharpening to only maybe the edges or the outlines. So if at all I'm to zoom into the eye and I show you guys the sharpening of this image, so you can see the before and the after. Every single detail, including the details in the eye, have been sharpened. But usually when we are sharpening images, we only want to take into consideration sharpening particular parts of the image. So if at all you want to add the sharpening to specific areas of the image, here is what you have to do. You have to come and hold down the alternate key on the keyboard. So hold down the alternate and simply left click on this layer mask icon. So alternate and click right there, and that is going to hide the overall sharpening from the image. So right now we just want to reveal or get back the sharpening in, for example, we just want to sharpen maybe the eyes or particular areas of this image. So we have to come and get the soft round brush. So come and get the normal brush tool, opacity at 100 and the flow at 100%. Yeah, the hardness has to be of course at 0. And after doing that, the next option is going to come and make sure that the brush is black in color. Rather, make sure the brush is white in color, because in Photoshop, black hides and white reveals. That's why we want to get a white brush that is going to reveal the sharpness of the image. And if at all you don't have black and white, you can simply reset the swatches by clicking on these tiny two boxes. And to get white on top, you can either click on these arrows, or you can use X on the keyboard to toggle in between black and white right here. So you just want white on top, meaning the brush is going to be white in color. And you're going to zoom in because I want you guys to see the sharpening being applied to the eye area. So increase on the size by using the box brackets on the keyboard, and you can now paint over the areas that you want or you would love to sharpen in the image. So let's look at the eye right here, and you can come and sharpen this other eye rather, and you can see how this is affecting the image. So let's see the before and after for sharpening that eye. So this is the before and after, and every single detail has been emphasized even more in the model's eyes. So you can see how sharp the eyes look even from a distance. So if at all you'd love to change the sharpening values later on, like I said, when we are starting this tutorial, I told you guys you can change this into a smart object so that you can change the blur radius later on. So you can come and open the group and simply come to where it says Gaussian blur, and you can come and double click right there on the Gaussian blur, just like that, and you can play around with the radius and look for what works best for you. But I would recommend that you don't go above 4, because that would look really awkward. So that is how you can change it, and you can hit OK, and it's going to be applying that to your image. So this is the before and after, meaning you can sharpen your images by blurring them. So I know it looked awkward, but if at all you have learned and loved something from this very tutorial, don't forget to like this video so that YouTube can push it to more people that would love to learn about retouching and sharpening their images in general. I am Ronix from Ronnixphotography. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in yet more tutorials. And don't forget to keep practicing and keep creating.